Helmut Man, they like to roll the dice. By chance they came on a devil's game, and gosh, they paid the price. Paid the price.
Okay, we're back. So I apologize in the previous streams. I guess my volume was not set correctly. I didn't realize it, but the game audio was way too loud relative to the commentary volume, the microphone volume. So, unfortunately, you guys missed out on like hilarious jokes, comments, insightful comments. I think I talked about like programming stuff too. Techniques I noticed that the programmers employed. So, actually, how do I know if I did a level? I guess this flag here means I did the level. So this level's done. But this one might not have been. Yeah, I guess that's how you're supposed to read this interface. Okay, so let's try this level. Let's see what happens here. Pyramid, parallel, regular. Alright, let's see what this is. And might have to remind myself of the controls here. I remember I remapped it last time. I think I moved things to my chair.
Will get red hot.
This is interesting.
You're up.
It's like a 3D level. Okay, that's how I shrink. Oh man, I can't even kill the cats? Okay. Oh god. Wow. Wait, there's a freaking chainsaw. Oh man. Wow.
Here's a
Okay.
real high-class bout. You're up.
Yeah, this game has a reputation for being hard. God damn. And then it's hard to like, I'm usually not a talkative person in real life, so I'm trying to put effort into talking, but it's especially hard to concentrate and talk at the same time. I guess I could have shrunk there. Wow. Yeah, I have to use the shrinking ability more often, I guess. I think it also gives me a speed boost. I like this 3D background, that's pretty cool. Like, I wasn't expecting. I guess it's just a loop, so it's not that it's not that technically impressive, but it's I wasn't expecting it because like the whole game was a 2D platformer up until now, and so then there's this 3D effect that, like, you know, the variety is nice. Oh god. Okay. These are like cat scorpions, maybe? Because they got, is that 6 legs or 8 legs? I couldn't, I'm too focused on other things to get an accurate count, but... Actually, how many legs do scorpions have? Are scorpions, are they arachnids as opposed to insects? Insects are supposed to have 6 legs. Oh god. Okay, I wasn't sure like the stick that holds up the chainsaw thing or whatever, the spinny blade hurts you or not. It looks like it doesn't hurt you. But yeah, so arachnids have 8 legs, insects have 6 legs. Oh god, like the inconsistent splitting of these. Okay, maybe I should use my ult. Well, so much for that. I meant to use the ult to like crash into the bad guy. to like deal damage in the hopes that to end this part of the fight faster. But I crashed into one of those projectiles instead, which I guess saved my life in a sense, so maybe that's okay. What the hell is this? I don't know what... He was like using psychic powers? Oh shit. And then like... God damn. And then one of the psychic... Like... So he was doing... I don't know how to get... Like he's emoting in a cartoon stereotypical way. Indicating that he's using psychic powers, right? Like it's I don't know of a better way to describe that. So there was like waves coming out of his head, and then there was waves around my body, and then I'm like, what does that mean? Is he going to psychically kill me, or? And like, should I do something? Should I dodge? That that's oh god. I wanted to use up. I don't like my super actually for this level, for this scenario. So I was trying to use it up so that like keep me at 4 cards or below or whatever, but looks like I wasn't using my super often enough, and then I ended up actually getting 5, which means I have to use my super. Meaning I can't use like my non-super as far as like that. So I guess I'm gonna have to like preserve it for like in a typical bullet hell, you know, right before you're about to die, you use it to like get invulnerability frames. That's probably what I'm gonna have to do. Oh god. Okay. The Saturns or whatever they don't give you a lot of time to make a judgment call as to like how far they're moving vertically. The fact that they move inconsistently is very stressful for me because I don't know, like, you know, you're not sure, is this the right time to dodge, or is it you want to wait for the next bounce, the next wave? Yeah, so here, like, there's this, what's he, oh, is he, like, reading, because this looks like it's supposed to be a marionette of me, right? So is he, like, reading my mind to get, oh, gosh darn it. I felt like that wasn't in my hitbox, but I guess the game deemed that it was. Oh man, and I forgot that the so when he fires, he has like this spread cone which prevents you from getting too close to him, I guess. Forgot about that.
Good job for us. Well done. Now go.
And I think maybe, yeah, I was gonna say maybe I'm getting the hang of the parry now. It's like, it's way earlier. You have to do it way earlier than I expected. I guess the idea is that you don't, like, let's say in Street Fighter Third Strike, you would parry just as the attack connects with you, right? And that's what I was expecting, but it looks like the mental model you want for this game, oh god, is that parry makes you do this flip thing, and it's while you're in this flip animation, if you touch a pink thing, then you parry, which is a different mental model. So that's why you want to do it ahead of time, and why I've always been doing it too late, because I had this mental model. If you want to do it right when you're about to touch the thing. Honestly, I'm pessimistic about this run. I don't think I'm gonna beat, like, this is only his second form or something like that, right? So I don't think and he has 4 forms total from what I saw on the chart. So I don't think I'm gonna beat the next 3 forms. If you include this one, 2 if you don't include this one, without taking any damage. So pretty pessimistic, but you never know. God damn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 forms. All right. Oh, that's I guess that's a bug. So when you die during a boss fight, the "you died" message will vary depending on which stage you died within. Like, the idea is, like, if he kills you, I guess during this cat form, you're gonna get some sort of cat message. If you die during the puppet form, you get a puppet message. So I just finished whatever the second form, whatever you want to call it. And so I guess we were entering into the puppet form, but the puppet hadn't actually appeared on screen. So if your mental model is causality, it wasn't the puppet that killed me. It was this guy, this sarcophagus, I guess, the trans-dimension space sarcophagus. So lore-wise, it should be the this guy, the sarcophagus, that's taunting me for dying, right? But I guess because what the game does is it doesn't look at causality, it looks at timing. Because I died when I was in the marionette phase, it showed the marionette message. So, in my opinion, that's a bug. If I were a beta tester, I would report this to them. Hey, fix this bug. I can see the argument for it not quite really being a bug, and or yes, it's a bug, but not worth fixing because it's such a minor edge case. But depending on how perfectionist developers are, I wonder, does my super force me to move forward? I assume it does. Like it doesn't just let me have invulnerability forever, right? I'm assuming it's gonna pressure me. What the fuck is this? It's gonna pressure me to continuously move forward until I strike something, I presume. Oh gosh, I don't like that. Those circles. Oh god, pretty faint. Yeah, hard to see. Hard to know what the hitbox is. Okay, I killed. Easy. First try, right, guys? Oh god, am I gonna die? Okay. Yeah, this game's easy. I don't know what all the memes are about. This is a trivial game. Probably gonna beat it in this sitting. Right here. Right, no problem. Actually, how are we doing for time? Okay, 12 minutes into the stream. We can do another level. The Jimmy? The Great? I assume the D is silent, like it's written the Jin, but I think you're supposed to pronounce it Jin, right? So this is Jimmy the Great. Jimmy. So, in some of these names, I don't. If they're references, I'm not getting them. I guess Jimmy is supposed to be like Jin, like the and Genie, like some sort of mixture of those. I don't know what this is. Oh god, what? Like, is this guy, like the way he like drives forward a little bit and then backs up is really stressing me out. Oh god. Why is this? You want to crack him? Because I don't know that I would associate crack as a thing that cups do really. So I don't find that pun well constructed. At least now I kind of know his tell for charging, so I know what to look for, I guess, in a sense. Oh god. I don't know why these ducks, I don't know what's the red duck. I don't know why some of these ducks are dropping light bulbs. Is it just like arbitrary whimsicality, or is there something about ducks and light bulbs that another joke that I'm missing? And also, this is freaking me out. Oh, what the heck? Let's say, am I... Okay, I can stand on this part. Oh god, but wait, I have a dash, right? I gotta remember... Okay. Yeah. I forget that... Actually, this is a pattern in a lot of video games I play. I often forget about mechanics that I haven't used in a while. I guess I'm assuming that's, like, not very weird. Oh, crap. I'm assuming most people forget about mechanics if they don't use them for a while.
A great slam and then
so then, you know, there's the question of, is this a flaw in me or is this a flaw in the game design? And then you have that old Principal Skinner joke from Simpsons where it's not me, it's the kids that are wrong, mistaken, or whatever. Man. So what do the red ducks do? Anything? I haven't seen differentiating behavior between the red ducks and the yellow ducks yet, as far as I know. Maybe it happened, I didn't notice. Okay. Oh man. I forgot what the super version, or the EX version I guess is what they call it, of the homing bullet that chasers is. So I know, like for the P-Shooter, for example, it sort of freezes you in spot, so I might be able to use that to help, help with dodging. It could help or hinder, depends. But like if I want to, I assume, I haven't experimented with this one, but I assume like if I do an EX version, an EX version of the attack while in the air, I can extend the duration in which I stay in the air, like get some extra air frames basically. Earlier on I hesitated there because I didn't want, like, there's a duck of a light bulb. When I jumped over the bumper car guy, I hesitated because I didn't want to land on the flame that would be generated by the light bulb. Oh. Why is he so close? It's making me nervous. Come on, give me room, man. Give me reaction frames. Also, I'm wondering, do I take damage, collision damage from the ducks, like when they're not spinning? If I were to jump, probably, I mean, or else what would be the point of shooting them, right? So almost certainly. What hit me? I guess a balloon spawned right in that corner, because there is a pipe there, so I guess as I was hiding in that corner, a dog balloon spawned, and it hit me. And I was busy watching the other side of the screen because I was planning my jump. I'm assuming my super is like not weapon dependent. I assume it's always at like ultra beam. Oh god, what is this? Horseshoes? Okay. Oh no. Oh man, yeah, I was like, because when he shot them off screen, like into nothingness, I was like, okay, this is bad because does this give me vulnerability frames? I hope that yes it does. Gosh, but then it. Okay. Then I don't get to control when I fall to the ground, so that's risky. I felt like I was saying something earlier, but I can't remember what now, so oh well. Oh, maybe the red ducks are actually pink ducks. Yeah, they are. Okay, interesting. So these homing blows can be good or bad. Just sometimes, you know, I'm trying to focus a specific target and I'm not focusing that target. Then, or can I do my ultra beam straight up? Like if I do up and then do my ultra beam, am I gonna shoot straight up or am I forced to? Oh man, yeah, that was risky. I was trying to like jump and then immediately do my super and just use my invincibility frames to not get hit by those horseshoes, but. Did not work out. Oh, too early. That's the other thing with some of these telegraphs, like, because they telegraph a lot, and then that makes you like, or it makes me at least, because I'm nervous, I guess. Dodge way too early. So the nose on that roller coaster is pink. On this roller coaster that I'm riding on. So I'm wondering, is the nose parryable? So these dogs are not homing, so it looks like they just pick a fixed projectile path and then... Earlier, for some reason, I thought they were homing. Like that last one though, the last dog balloon it felt like he wasn't doing a straight line. Like, was he doing a sine wave or something? And oh gosh. Okay, I think there's one more form, right? So what is that form that I have no information about? Spooky laugh. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh god, oh god. Oh man. So his final form? Yeah, it's the beginning of his final form, so I still got a ways to go, apparently.
Good day for us.
Don't worry guys, this game's easy, right? Should be able to beat it in no time. Oh wow, why are you getting so close, buddy? Stressing me out. For some reason, that reminds me of that meme / comic, I guess, where, you know, when you're in the bathroom, like as a man, if you're in the bathroom, this joke might not be relatable to women, but when you're using the urinals and there's like a whole bunch of rows of urinals, there's like some sort of unspoken rule that it's really weird if it's a social faux pas if you decide to use a urinal right next to a guy when there's like plenty of other urinals that are empty. I guess it's like the analogous situation that might be more relatable to women is if you're in like in the movie theater and it's like pretty empty. Like, in fact, let's say you're the only person watching the movie, so it's like a completely empty movie theater. And then a second person comes in, which is fine, you know, like other people are allowed to watch the movie along with you. But they decide to sit next to you. Like, the entire theater has seats all over the place that are open. But they decide to sit next to you. That's, you know, it's weird, right? Like, I assume that this would be seen as equally weird by men and women. Oh, nice. The nose is parryable. Knock knock, who's there? Charlie, Charlie, who? Charlie horse. Yeah, not that funny. But I guess they're going for the
You're up.
like old jokes are less funny, and it's unclear if that's because like some of them might be because like by virtue of them being old, it means we've heard them many times before. Like, you know, why the chicken cross the road one, for example, and so that explains why they're less funny. But like I don't think I've ever heard this Charlie horse one before, and I did not find it particularly funny. So, were our standards for humor lower back then because like jokes were a new concept? Like, no, that can't be it either, right? Because English, like, there must have been jokes at least as long as there was English language, and presumably earlier, right? Like, presumably other languages also had jokes, so jokes as a concept must be very old. So the idea that, like, you know, we're new at jokes and we haven't figured them out yet, that doesn't seem to be a good explanation for why old jokes seem to be less funny than modern jokes. Oh god, what do I do here? I really wish this game had double jump. Anyway, yeah, so sitting next to someone in an empty movie theater. Socially awkward. Social faux pas. The urinal thing has this extra, in my opinion, an extra
A great slam in that shot. Now go.
awkwardness that the movie theater situation doesn't have, just because like there's this extra taboo of like if you're oh man, if you're a guy, there's like this pressure of like you don't want to. There's a pressure to not appear to be homosexual, like in any way whatsoever, right? But then there's also this pressure to like not appear homophobic in any way at all, like at least in liberal cultures. Maybe if you live in a fairly conservative culture, there's less of that pressure, but I happen to live in a liberal one, so so I'm more familiar with with the norms of liberal cultures. But so then it's like you don't want to stand next to a guy in the urinal, but you don't want to make a big deal out of it either, right? Because you don't want to be like, oh, I'm anti-gay, but you don't want to. But you don't want to. You don't want to come off as gay, and you don't want to come off as anti-gay. Usually, I mean that's a traditional social pressures that are at play in this urinal situation. Hope that's not too controversial. I was raised in a fairly liberal society, so so I'm generally supportive of homosexuality, and I guess alternative sexualities in general. Bisexuality, asexuality, and so on. But I guess the society that I was raised in was not so liberal that that the idea that someone might be uncomfortable, like as a male, I might be uncomfortable with people perceiving me as homosexual would be an alien thought. I wonder if there's the analogous situation for homosexuals in the sense of, oh wow, I just realized when you jump, because of the umbrella thing up there, you can't quite see where you are, and that can make estimating the jumps pretty difficult. But yeah, I was gonna say. This is useless because 1 HP left, so damn it. How am I doing? Almost 75% away of the final form, I'd say.
This match will get red
Do
hot.
homosexual people ever... Is there like a situation where they don't want to accidentally appear heterosexual? Does that ever happen? My understanding from talking to a few homosexual people is that sometimes there is pressure to pass as heterosexual, right? Like maybe you're not ready to come out of the closet or whatever. You don't want your coworkers to know. You might not want your family to know. Your friends to know. Oops. What? Oh, that was part of that thing again where the dog spawns at the corner. How did we get on this topic? I think it was because... Was it the... Yeah, okay, the bumper car thing. reminded me of the urinal joke because he wasn't giving me enough room. That's how I got here. I'm doing this because I'm trying to talk more, so I'm doing this like stream of thought thing and try not to self-censor too much. But now I feel like it's a really weird topic to have gotten onto. Because the other concern of mine now, that we're getting a bit meta here, is I don't want to appear as a bigot, right, or as like culturally uncouth or whatever, and so like, you know, some part of me does want to self-censor, and it's tough, you know, like I'm new to streaming. It's tough to come up with interesting things to say constantly. So there's this. So I'm also dealing with a delicate balance now too between like, you know, keep talking to make the stream interesting beyond just a silent let's play. Maybe long play, I guess is the term they use for that. But I don't want to get into too controversial topics. Not because, like, you know, I want to silence a particular agenda or anything like that, but just because when you have a topic that has like important social repercussions, like gay rights or whatever, you want to be careful and like considerate in how you phrase things and in your thought process.
A great slam
and I'm trying to focus on not getting hit by these ducks and their light bulbs at the same time. So this is not a convenient forum to have that sort of discussion in. Like, it's hard for me to maintain a coherent and well thought out thesis and develop my arguments and you know and make sure I don't offend anybody or like if I make a generality, I couch them in sufficient caveats so that to avoid, you know, misunderstandings or people misconstruing my statements or whatever. And that takes mental bandwidth, right? Which some of which is being absorbed right now by trying to dodge these dog balloons and the ducks and the light bulbs and all that. So I don't know. Maybe should I? My instinct is I should avoid these controversial topics. But you know, if the viewership, if they're like, no, I like this stuff, I want you to talk more about it. Okay, I'll take that into consideration when deciding what to talk about in my streams. One of the feedback I got was they liked it when I talked about so-called intellectual. Oh man, I was trying to parry that. So-called intellectual topics. They felt like that was a market that's being underserved, I guess, in video game streams. So that's, I guess, you could see that as one argument for for saying yes, you know, talk about these controversial topics more. But on the other hand, like I said, it's hard to because so much mental bandwidth is being taken up by trying to like play the game. It's hard to have it's hard to then also focus to have spare mental bandwidth to talk about the intellectual or controversial topic as well. And so, am I really serving the intellectual niche? Oh man, can't believe he just died like a frame earlier. I went to taking damage there. So am I really serving that intellectual niche if I'm giving like half-assed thoughts that, you know, pretty juvenile arguments that non-sequiturs don't follow, whatever? And I don't know the answer, right? Like, because it seems like if you guys really wanted to see coherent arguments about anything. You know, whether that's whether that's gay rights or horseshoes or ducks. There's probably more appropriate forums where you can get that. If you're watching the stream, it's because you want to see me play Cuphead, right? Or Battletech, whatever it is I happen to be streaming. So yeah, maybe this is why most streamers don't get into these heady topics. Just because like there's I don't know if I would call them market pressures or something like that disincentivize that type of content. It's like it's a question of who's your core audience and whether you're trying to what's the product or the content that you're trying to deliver here, and you know, like trying to play video games while giving half thought out arguments doesn't seem to be. I don't think there's any market for that. Nobody's looking for that, I would imagine. But who knows, right? Oh man, I just managed to dodge that horseshoe. But of course, that leads to the situation that my friend mentioned, which is that you don't get any streams where anyone's willing to talk about these sort of topics, which sort of, I guess, belies the thesis that nobody wants it or us. But maybe he was just being nice to me, right? Like maybe he doesn't really care about. He doesn't find my comments particularly insightful, and he's just trying to find something nice to say about my streams. He says, "Oh yeah, you know, you're the streamer for intellectuals." Can I kill these penguins? Yeah, that's okay. That's part of the strategy here, because it's tough to. Oh, but then, oh shit. Oh man. How am I doing? Not even halfway up the last form.
Good day for a 12 match. And begin!
So, okay, maybe what I gotta do is I can talk about intellectual stuff, but somehow related to the game I'm playing, right? That seems to be the most sensible option here. And so now I'm trying to think of like, what are some examples of intellectual video game content. I'm a fan of Mark Brown, this game analysis, Aaron Signal. Video Game Donkey, although more for his humor than for insightful analysis. And so now I'm trying to think, like, can I serve the same type of content or serve that same need that they're feeling, the same niche, but with the caveat that it's probably going to be a little lower quality, or maybe a lot lower quality, both because I think those guys are pretty smart, smarter than me, and also because they're doing it YouTube style, so meaning they have time to like write their material, edit, self-edit, make sure the argument is sound and all that before they submit the video, and I'm doing it like Twitch style, live stream style. I need something to stand on. There we go. This is probably it. I don't think I'm gonna survive. Yeah, okay. Oh man. What do you call a cup that falls off a swing? A tumbler. That one's not bad. It's better than the other ones he's been giving me. Because a tumbler... Actually, what is a tumbler? Is that, like...
Well battled. And begin.
I'm in my mind, I'm thinking it's that... Like... It's a little... metallic... cylinder. I mean, I would not call it a cup, personally. That you put on your finger so that you, so that when you're sewing, you don't hurt your finger? Is that what a tumbler is? Like, that's what I'm thinking a tumbler is, but now I'm sort of doubting myself. Maybe I'm mixing up with another word. And so, I mean... Was that a cup? It seems odd to consider... Like, there's two separate questions here, right? Like, one is that what a tumbler is, or am I mixing up that term with something else? And second is that object the object that I'm thinking of? Is that a cup? Because cups, in my mind, for something to be a cup, the main purpose should be to hold, like, usually liquids. I guess cups, like when you take a cup of flour or something like that. Measuring cup, right? Like that's not liquid, but the general purpose is to hold something that you would eat or consume or drink in some way. It's for holding drinks and sometimes food, and that sewing thing does not have that purpose, right? In my mind. Oh man, horseshoe still came. The counter argument to this is you have like trophies like the Stanley Cup or whatever, right? You'd be hard pressed to say that the purpose of that object is to hold foods or drinks, right? It's really more. Gosh darn it! It's literally a trophy, right? Like it's an object whose main purpose is to provide the symbolism associated with winning something. And so I wonder, like, is there an origin story behind, or an etymology behind that? Like, did we used to, like, would victors, when someone in the old days, when they won a tournament or something like that, would they then fill up like a golden chalice with like wine or something and then drink that as part of the victory ceremony? That seems plausible. And oh god. Oh nice. Thank god. Oh man. Okay, I'm invulnerable during the victory thing. Oh, so glad that's over. Did it in pie time too. Brand new record. Yeah, look how happy that Cuphead guy is. I'm very happy too. Oh yeah, there's a spooky face here. That's oh, this is. I thought it was a level. It's the talking guy. Through all your battles and all my rhymes, you have failed and perished 68 times. Okay, so self-imposed challenge. Beat the game without ever dying, then talk to that guy. Maybe. Where do I go next? Is this a path? Oh, shop. I was talking about something, I forgot what again. Oh, not money though.
Goodbye.
Cups, I think. Like victory cups. Chalices. Golden chalices. When you win a tournament. So you've spoken with Quadratus, the water being... Oh, yes, I have. The water being across the... Quadratus? It's a strange name. That is something few others can claim. Few others can claim. I mean, I feel like a lot of people probably got to World 2 of this game, because World 1 isn't that hard. So I feel like he's just being overly flattering. I think I mentioned this in a previous video, but like I said, the audio mixing was not well done in my previous videos. Oh, what the fuck is that? Okay. And so what I would say is, I like, there's these ghosts that kind of swing their arms as they fly in, and I like, oh god. Here, this guy in the front, or these two guys, I guess. I like that animation. For some reason, it's, there's like this cocky macho-ness to it that I find endearing.
Victory!
And then I mentioned that, like, last time this happened, I was like, I bet you it's gonna be a hot girl ghost. And then, if I knew I read around here, I could find something special. And then, like, when she actually showed up, I was like, well, I guess she might be hot if you were a cup, right? Oh, super art. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by what's happening in the game, so I keep interrupting myself. Do I get to see what the super art looks like? Oh, invincibility. Okay, so this answers my earlier question of, like, can I use my super attack up? And the answer is no. It's horizontal only. I mean, I don't know what they mean by a short period of time, like become invulnerable for a short period of time, but I feel like this is... It's almost, like, strictly worse than Super R1, because Super R1 also makes you invulnerable. Although I assume that you can, like, still move around while being invulnerable with this one. Right, like, it's just, the effect is only that you're invulnerable, but everything else about you is normal, like you can move, jump, shoot, whatever. Which might make it better than the other one, which is, you're invulnerable, but then, like, you can't control when the, when your beam ends. And thus, you know, I got screwed by, a couple times by that, right, like, where then, when the beam ended and I dropped to the floor, it wasn't when I wanted to drop to the floor, and then I took damage. Sure what a shortcut is. I don't know. Anyway, I was saying, earlier I was thinking about, I recently saw a Mark Graham video where he's talking about pacing. And in particular, one of the... What the hell is that sound? Oh. Oh, that sound is my bullets hitting the floor. What the fuck? Okay, so one of the techniques the games use to make the pacing more interesting wow. Come on, trampoline guy. Get your shit together. Come on. So yeah, oh man, I was about to say, this level reminds me a lot of Circus Charlie, and like this clown on a ball is straight out of Circus Charlie. What the hell is this? It's Bottomless Pits is what it is.
And begin!
So yeah, one of the techniques games use to work on pacing is to vary the gameplay. So... Wait, come on, I was sparing that. What the hell? So, this thing where you have some levels are boss fights, some levels are like parry challenges, basically. I'm also paranoid that like if you touch the edge of the trampoline, you're gonna take damage because he has what looks like spiky teeth there. But anyway, so yeah, so you want to vary the gameplay, and gosh darn it, this foreground blocking some of my vision.
Now go!
And so it's interesting to see how Cuphead varies the gameplay, right? Oh, come on, how is there a way to like? I guess that's the whole point. That's the whole challenge here, right? When you say like, is there a way to make the trampoline go away so that you can make your jumps more safely? And no, like that, there isn't a way. That's the challenge of this level. And that's just my question, I guess, about whether or not the edge of the trampoline does damage. The answer is yes. Of course it does. Everything does damage in this game. So yeah, good job. Oh come on. How did that touch me? That's BS. So good job varying the gameplay. Like that parry challenge with the Ghost Girl Cuphead thing. It's a nice breather from the especially, you know, when you've been doing this boss fight like over and over again, which I guess the developers expect like that would be a typical experience, right? Like most people won't beat bosses on their first try. Oh yeah, maybe I could dash. Maybe that's the trick. I keep forgetting. Keep underusing my dash. Pretty scared right now. Yeah, I was like, I don't know what's gonna. When I saw that row of Donkey Kong Jr.-esque kids, I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm probably gonna die, whatever it is that's happening. I thought it'd be clever if I figured out you could like duck dash underneath those things. Oh, come on! What the hell am I supposed to do? How many freaking... Oh, there is a finite. I was about to say, like, is there just, like, an infinite number of them? In which case... Oh, mother... Fetcher.
And begin!
Dodging is probably... Or, not dodging. Dashing is probably the secret ingredient for this section. Because it looks like you can... cut your jump height short, which is the necessary ability that you need for this section, by dashing. Wow, look at that. I think that's a bug. Like, I think he's not supposed to be able to leave the ring. Sir. I want to take a screenshot somehow. Okay, it looks like I did. Yeah, I'm assuming he's normally not supposed to leave. But, you know, because I'm such a pro gamer, I can, like, trigger these edge cases. I was very nervous there. I was like, please just die. Oh god. I'm assuming, yeah, I was about to say, I'm assuming the bells can't actually hurt you. Am I cheating this? Like, I'm trying to kill him without triggering his, like, aggro animation. Yes. The answer is yes, you can cheese that. So now we'll never know what that guy does. Unless we go YouTube it and some other guy's playthrough or something like that. What the fuck is that? I guess that's supposed to be an uninflated balloon or something like that? Oh no, it's something, because like that... Is it like fizzy liquid or something? I don't know what the hell. Oh, maybe it's like ketchup mustard relish. Maybe that's what, yeah, that's probably what it's supposed to be. Because we got these pretzels here too. Little personal anecdote. Oh, is it like coming out of the hot dog? Like just, I thought, you know, there'd be a hot dog and then like behind it there'd be like these 3 squirt bottles or something like that. But it's literally just, the hot dog is spawning ketchup mustard relish. First thing I know was important. It doesn't matter if you guys missed it. It's just, basically, I really want to eat soft pretzel. I've been wanting to eat soft pretzel for like years now. The opportunity just never came up. Where I came from, Montreal, Quebec. Talk to this guy again because I thought this was the shortcut he was talking about. I don't think soft pretzels were really a thing. I mean, I probably, like, if I put effort to seek it out, I probably could have found some from my hometown in Quebec. But I didn't, like, I didn't see much advertisement for soft pretzels or anything like that. But when I moved to the States, soft pretzels did seem to be a thing. It's like, I saw, you know, I actually saw advertisement for it. Like, it says, you know, come buy our soft pretzels or whatever. I don't know what the advertisement said. But when I saw those advertisements, I'm like, oh, so soft pretzels are a thing. And it sounds really good. Like, I wanna eat some soft pretzels. It sounds like, what I'm imagining in my mind is like bagels. If you like bagels, here's like the bagel, but more of it, right? Like the volume is increased for the same minimal containing sphere, like, you know, so because instead of like this, instead of just a torus, you've got a little bit of the center of the torus filled too because of that frosting. So that sounds awesome. I want, like, if you like bagel, well, here's more bagel. That's what a soft pretzel is. That's how I imagine it. And now, man, I own the air. I fly where egos dare.
Here's a real high-class bout.
But so even in America, like, the opportunity never came up. Where I've been to fairs, but I did not see a vendor who's like, hey, come, you know, I am literally right in front of you now selling soft pretzels. Do you want to buy one? I only saw like posters that advertise them. And so, once again, the opportunity never came up for me to actually buy soft pretzels. What? I thought these birds with nails on their head would, like, do something more dramatic. But they're just... It looks like if I just let them fly by, they're like, whatever, you know. We tried our best. We flew by while having nails stuck to our head. Didn't kill him. Didn't kill the damn cup, so I guess, you know, what else could you have asked for? What would you have done differently in our position is what the birds are asking. When you're like, well, you know, that's it, that's what you did. You flew by while, oh wow, that baby thing looks evil. Oh man, I just activated my super because my that's the problem. I'm all the brain scared with the pain. I was like, I'm about to die, better use my super, but too late, I guess. Oh, I didn't get to see how many forms this boss has, so I'm not sure how close I was to the end. On one hand, I wish that was my job, right? Like, I wish I could just have a nail stuck to my head, fly by, and be like, yeah, I contributed to the war against Cups. Cups are terrorizing our city, our amusement park, I guess. Because like these birds, you know, they were happily living here, minding their own business, and then this Cup comes in and starts shooting everybody. Like what the fuck? That I would be upset if a Cup came in and just started shooting people. Right? I would be terrorized. I would. If a politician was like, you know, we've got a Cup problem, Cups are coming in, killing people, we should do something about it, we should send in the army to deal with this, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds reasonable. That does sound like self-defense. It's not like, you know, some other wars that people might argue were less legitimate. I feel like there's a pretty good legitimacy to the claim that if a Cup comes in and starts shooting everybody, that's an act of war and we should do something about it. So, but like, on the other hand, I'm a coward, right? So I don't want to join the army and like get shot at or whatever. And so at first blush, I says, well, being a bird with a nail in your head sounds like, oh man, there's another phase? Just, like, where do I shoot to deal damage to him? Because... around here, it looks like. But that's... Oh man. What the fuck is that? Oh god. Please die, please. Okay, I'm gonna let. Okay, that just saved my life, basically. Oh man. Why isn't he flashing? Why? Okay, there we go. I just want to deal damage. Come on. I wish I could shoot backwards. So this guy can. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm on this side of the screen or that side of the screen. Oh god! Gosh! Okay, come on, tell me I was close. I was pretty close.
Good day for us. Well done. You're up.
Yeah, so at first blush I said, like, I want to be one of those birds, right? Just like, you don't have to commit yourself that hard, but you can still say you're contributing to the war somehow. But then on further discussion, like, you see how easy it was for me to kill them there? Like, what is the survival rate for these birds? Because like, if you got a nail and a Cup is coming at you in an airplane shooting at you, like, my money's on the Cup, right? Like, what are you gonna do with a nail? Like. So maybe it isn't such a good idea to be the bird with a nail. Like, maybe the survival rates are actually pretty bad for birds with nails. Plus, you know, I've always had airplane sickness when I travel, which is why I would probably never make it through the Air Force as a fighter pilot.
Now go.
So, yeah, maybe being a bird with a nail is not the ideal role for me in if war were to break out. think I see myself playing more of a support role, like particularly in IT, probably. I think that's where I could contribute the most value.
This match will get red hot. You're up.
To be honest, I don't know what the IT efforts usually look like in a war. Like, is it mainly making sure the networks are set up properly or something like that between the
This match will get red
different
hot.
squads?
It's on.
Does the military use proprietary setups, like, you know, as a form of security through obfuscation, or do they tend to use open standards? Like, do they use CPIP or what? You know? Wow, I gotta focus on the game, I think. I'm trying to think too hard about this other thing, and it's not leaving me enough bandwidth to track all the emotions of all the sprites on screen here. So I apologize if I had to cut speculation short on what military IT personnel do for a living. I just assumed that IT would be where I would be able to contribute the most, because I have a background in computing as a software developer. Software developer doesn't precisely overlap with IT work generally, but like, I'm a pretty scrawny guy, I'm pretty weak, I'm pretty out of shape, so like being a foot soldier or whatever also doesn't, you know, it sounds like a bad plan. It sounds like you would be, if you gave me a gun and like a rifle, and you're like, okay, go out there and start, you know, be an infantry, go shoot people. I feel like you would get very little value out of that, actually. I'm probably a terrible shot. Can't run very far without
Good day for a well battle. And begin.
without tiring myself out. Can't carry a lot of equipment. That said, I mean, probably a lot of people are in that situation like me. Like, you know, they're not particularly in shape, and you can't, you probably can't win wars without at least some boots on the ground, I believe is the terminology. And so, you know, somebody has to, like, hold the rifle, walk out onto the battlefield, absorb some enemy bullets. So the question is, you know, me or you? What provides the most value
Red hot.
to the war effort? What is the, like, I get that he's in a birdhouse. I get that if a bird were to, like, use a rubber band and strap a nail to his head and have this, like, angry grimace on his face, like, that's all thematically consistent. Or, like, puking up eggs, that's not biologically consistent, but it's thematically consistent. But why does his head turn into fingers, and then the fingers shoot 3 bullets? Like, that part does not make sense to me. It just seems so out of place relative to everything else that's happening during this fight. surely there are other bird-related imagery that could have been used besides his hand turning into, or his head turning into a hand. Maybe I need to use the shrinking ability more. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, that must be it. I'm not shrinking it. That's the problem. That's what I've been doing wrong this whole time. I maintain shrunken form a little bit, like after the egg, the first egg has cracked, because my impression is that he typically launches multiple eggs. So even after the first egg is launched, I'm expecting a second egg, so I stay in mini form. But then sometimes I'm like wasting frames where I'm not dealing damage, because he actually, in the end, he did not launch another egg. Okay. So staying in mini form did definitely reduce my damage potential there, because that was the first time I think he did 3 feather bursts. Oh man, come on. Normally, I can kill him by the time he does 2 feather bursts. Oh man! I gotta be ready for the my ult, because next attack is... Oh, come on! I said it, and I didn't do it. Oh well.
This match will get red hot.
I also forgot to check how many forms he has. So, I mean, it looked like that was... The kid was like 2 out of 5 from a brief glance I had. I'll try to pay attention next time. But, if so, that means... So, if the kid is 2, then the medical stretcher thing would be number 3, right? And that means the medical stretcher, like, if that's 3 out of 5, that's just halfway. And that seems like a really long boss fight, so I'm hoping I misread that. Because otherwise, there'd still be 2 more forms to go after that. Wow. Point blank. Egg in the face. I've got egg on my face now. The crappy thing about making a joke like that is that I have to be quiet sometimes to focus on dodging, but then it comes off like it comes off like I'm just, oh man, that's not what I meant. I meant to use 1 super bar, not all 5. So if I'm quiet after I tell a joke, it comes off as if like I'm trying to milk the joke, or I don't know. And that's not it, guys. Like, it's not that my joke is out there and just sitting and we're just silent because it was bad. Because actually the joke was, you know, decent. The problem is I had to be quiet because I'm focusing. So, you know, I don't want... Wow, come on. Okay, here we go. Okay, no, so the stretcher is the last form. I did misread it. Okay, that's good.
A brawl is surely brewing.
I don't want my viewers to mistakenly think that my jokes aren't funny. That's my main concern. I think it's a very easy mistake to make. I think a lot of people fall into that trap. So I just want to caution viewers, you know, just be extra careful there. If you think my jokes aren't funny, just, you know, take a second to check, make sure you're not committing that error. Common error that many people make. So that feather thing, I don't know if other people... Oh wow, I did... That was 3 feathers. And I don't think I did much shrinking. So is it possible that... And it looks like he was just about to do a 4th feather too. So is it possible that my by using my super I actually decrease my DPS? Excuse me. Man, my throat's getting kind of dry. I guess because I'm talking a lot more than I usually do. I'm gonna have to take a sip of water or something like that after this. After I kill this guy, no problem. On this run, because this is gonna be the run, right, where I succeed in defeating this boss. Gosh darn it! Screw it, let's just do this. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Please take damage. Please don't stand in the situation where you don't take damage. Please move to the side of the map where you do take damage. I don't like how pink things are not like super pink. I wish there's a lot more. Like, is that pink enough? You know, that because like the other, oh god, the other pill is like. Oh god! Almost there.
This match will get
I wish the game made it like really obvious that yeah, you know, this object is a pink object. Like, don't only make it pink, but like have like a glow or something like that. You know, like if you've played Ikaruga, for example, they make it very obvious which bullets are the white bullets and which bullets are the black bullets. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna be a run. Actually, wait, does that mean can I parry the red bird? That's probably I can. I can't tell if I misparried there, or if you cannot parry the red birds.
A brawl is surely brewing.
Hang on, actually, let me take a sip of water here. I just noticed, so on this pause screen it says copyright 1930. I am not a lawyer, but I thought there was some sort of legal issue about lying about the copyright year. Because the thing is, like, copyrights expire after a while, right? Like, in theory, like, in practice, it's a bit more complicated than that, and I don't want to get into that right now, but the idea is, like, when you make publish a work of art or whatever, like a book, a movie, you maintain, you have exclusive copyright ownership over that product, meaning you can sell it, you know, and no one else can sell it for a while. And then after a while, like after, say, 70 years or something like that, the work enters into the public domain, and then anybody can use it for anything. Like a lot of Shakespeare's work is in the public domain now, for example. So anybody could make a Shakespeare movie or a comic book or whatever. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if you live in a country with like weird copyright laws and things differ, but like that's That's generally the way things work in like Western culture, developed countries, and so on. And so because the year in which a work was published is important for determining whether or not it's in or out of copyright, I thought you're like legally not allowed to lie about the year of copyright. Because then you could say, oh yeah, I actually wrote this 5 years later than I actually wrote it. And then just claim, basically get an extra 5 years of free copyright. But because maybe like there's two counter arguments or two caveats to what I just said here. One, they're falsely. I presume it's false. I assume it's not true that they this. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I should not have altered there. I intended to just like keep using my EX moves.
This match will get red hot.
But I didn't realize I had a full super meter or whatever you want to call it. So I ended up using my ultimate attack or my super attack instead. Anyway, because they're claiming a copyright year in the past, they would actually be shortening their copyright ownership. So maybe that makes it okay on one hand. And the other objection that I thought of is, what if you're doing a work of fiction, like a play or a movie or whatever, where the year in which something has been copyrighted is relevant to the plot? Like what if you were make a movie about a lawyer and a writer, like a buddy movie or something like that, and then there's a question of one of the conflicts or in the story is there's an argument about whether or not the author owns copyright for something, and so the year in which the work was created and the year in which the copyright is claimed is plot relevant. In such case, it seems okay, to give a fictional copyright year for the fictional work of art that occurs in your story. Just like it's okay to have fiction, like stories where one character murders another character. It's not illegal to portray illegal acts in fiction, right? So maybe that's also a factor. That means it's okay for them to do this. This feather attack is actually relatively mild for bullet hell games. If you look at like Toho, or Ikaruga, or just Google for bullet hell in general. This is a fairly easy pattern to dodge. And of course, I'm saying that I'm going to take damage because I just jinxed myself. But I guess I would not like if this were a bullet hell game. This would be a fairly easy one, but I think it's not exactly a bullet hell game. Although I think some Steam users have tagged this game as bullet hell. It's really more of a Contra style or Metal Slug style, platformer run and gun. I was trying to figure out if I could just squeeze out in time. many hit points does this guy have? Come on. Die already. Finally. Okay, final form, let's do it. Except, crap. I was gonna say, except, I'm in my super mode, I can't use, I can't use the X moves here. This is really the way you're intended to damage him? Because I feel like the window is like really small. I'm not having enough opportunities to deal damage to him, and that's pretty frustrating. Oh, come on. I felt like that should not have hit me. That was not in my hitbox. Oh, man.
Here's a real high-class bout. Here goes.
Alright. We're at the point in the stream where I've run out of things to say because I've been stuck on this boss too many times. I've exhausted all my topics. Can I make maybe an Angry Bird reference or something like that? I mean, birds do look angry, but I feel like you need either... Oh, that feels like an early kill. That was like, he didn't even finish his second feather before he died. Yeah, I feel like you would need either pigs or you would need to see like destruction of structures to really say that there's an Angry Birds reference here. Because I mean, just having birds that are angry, I think is not sufficient to say there's an Angry Birds reference going on. Also, while I was making those comments earlier, it just occurred to me, like there's an etymological... And that also seems like a quick kill. Is the game taking pity on me? Is it like reducing the boss HP because it's like, well, you've been dying so much, let's just like give the boss 50% HP. You know, to even things out a bit. No, it must be that I'm just getting better at the game, right? That must be it. I was saying earlier, or I was gonna say, there's an etymological relationship between structure and destruct, like destroy, destruction, that I never realized before until I made the Angry Birds structure destruction comment. So destruction, I guess, the origin of the word is like to remove the structure of, right? And meaning so destroy means to remove the structure within of something. So today I learned. I'm surprised that these birds just fly in a straight line. Like they're so ineffective that they also seem out of place now on this level. Like I expect them, you know, to go up and down in a sine wave or something like that. But like, because they're actually very rarely in the way. I was say I'm not sure if I've ever gotten hit by them. I probably have. I mean, if we review the stream, I probably got hit by them a couple of times with it. But generally, it feels like I can just ignore them, actually, and they don't really pose that much of a threat. The birds with the nails. Oh, come on. Yes. Yeah. So maybe I am getting better, because, like, now...
A great slam and then some.
The kid bird, the baby bird, when he fires the pink gun, that's basically not a threat for me anymore, right? But although it probably was, I feel like I was worried or nervous about that initially. But now I can pretty consistently parry it. And so I can almost ignore it. Like the only thing, or the main thing I'm worried about when I'm playing the baby bird is the rotating eggshells. That's the thing that keeps damaging me. So I haven't figured out exactly how to dodge it. So I guess I am getting better at the game. Yeah, look at that. That's a... He like barely even got into the second feather. Wow, I was in the parry animation. I'm pretty sure if you watch the replay of that, I was parrying. Like you'll see this, you know, pink flare around me, whatever you want to call it. And yet I took damage. Was it because like maybe an eggshell struck me at the same time as his bullets? Maybe that's what happened. It's hard for me to recall now exactly. Hang on a second, my headphone is falling out of my ear. Okay, got it. How do I deal damage to when he's like this? Oh god. Man. Alright. We're almost there.
Now go.
Don't worry guys, we're getting better. We're improving. We'll get there eventually. It's all about persistence. If we don't give up, we'll manage to do it eventually. Even if we don't get better, I mean we are getting better, don't get me wrong, but even if we weren't, this boss is non-deterministic, right? Some of his... There's some randomness to his patterns. Or even if he's not, even if he's semi-deterministic, I'm not deterministic. I dodge a different way, and he's probably using my behavior as some of the inputs to his behavior. And so, you know, given enough trials, eventually, even if I never improve, I should be able... Oof, that was a little risky. I might have dodged a bit too early, or parried a bit too early there. Gosh darn it. Just by doing multiple trials, you would expect me to eventually just win by luck, just by fluke, you know? So we just keep going. Oh god! I panicked. And I hit the wrong button. I was trying to hit the my super button, but I did not hit my super button because I was panicking. Yeah, so give enough trials, you know, I'll beat him eventually. That's just the statistical law of large numbers, right? Oh man. I wonder how you design a pattern, like a bullet pattern like this. There's a language, like I don't want to quite say programming language, but wow, we didn't get them. That's like 3 feathers. That's a pretty slow time. There's a programming language. Well, it's not quite a programming language, but like let's just say it's a programming language to keep things simple for now. Called Bullet ML, which is used in some bullet hell games to describe bullet patterns. I haven't looked into it much to see what abstractions it provides. But a lot of bullet hell games, when they do bullet patterns, there's often a beautiful symmetry to it. Like there's some sort of regularity in the patterns that I think appeals to us as humans, right? Like, for whatever reason, maybe neuroevolutionary symmetry and patterns in general appeal to us. Wow. And so a lot of these bullet ML, I presume, like I said, I haven't looked into it closely. I presume are based on like different mathematical functions, like in the same way that like spirograph drawings are have a mathematical basis behind them, right? And yield beautiful patterns. So his feather pattern, I'm trying to like infer what is the algorithm behind it. Like, is it tracking me specifically? Is it just what possibility is like maybe it's drawing it constructs a circle around the boss and divides the circle into n, like it puts n equidistant points around the edge of the circle. Maybe like 10 points, 12 points, something like that. Yeah, I felt like it happened again where I parried it and yet it still took damage. Like it's basically take 360 degrees, divide by 12, where 12 is like an arbitrary number, right? It might be another number, and then, but like it has to choose, for that to work, it has to choose one angle or one point, and then like that will determine all the 12 or the 11 other points. And is it choosing that one point randomly, or is it choosing me, like the direction towards me, as one of those points? And then choosing the 11 remaining points from there. Or maybe it's not choosing randomly, but it's choosing according to some deterministic formula by like shifting a certain number of degrees each iteration. I don't think it's random because I feel like it feels like there's irregularity in that feather pattern that you would not expect if it were random. I think it's plausible that it's tracking me. Wow. Actually, this looks like a good spot to use my bullets. Because I'm pretty... pretty sure. Oh no, that doesn't hit him. Shooting his body doesn't damage him, I guess. Shooting his head damages him here. Does it damage him during this part? It's hard for me to watch him and myself instead. It looks like. Well, I was about to say, it looks like I don't damage him because he wasn't like flashing white. But I seem to be killing him while he's doing the feather attacks, so I must be dealing damage to him, even though he's not signaling it. So I don't know what to think now about that. Oh man. Actually, so now my next question is, when those eggshells come out, do they always fly at the deterministic angles? It looks like maybe it's always doing like a hex pattern, right? Like always perfectly horizontal and then diagonal up, diagonal down, 45-degree angle. If so, then maybe I can, if that's deterministic, maybe I can better predict. That's fine. I'm trying to get rid of these bullets, the EX meter a bit, so that I don't hit 5. Oh man, I wasn't watching.
Here's a real high-class bout. And begin!
Because I don't want to have my super. Oh, maybe I should just switch my super then. If I don't like the super, I should just switch the super, right? But maybe it's not enough. It's not just that I don't like the super, it's that I specifically want to be able to use this EX attack to increase my DPS. Assuming it does increase my DPS. There was that question earlier of like, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm actually doing less DPS when I do my super because it felt like the guy had an extra feather phase. Yeah, my excuse was I wasn't watching there. I'm trying to watch my super meter at the same time. Maybe I don't need to. Maybe I can just blind fire. My supers, my EX. I know there's an audio cue, but it's actually pretty hard to pick out the audio cue amidst all this chaos. I also don't want to be like zero, have 0 cards when I get to the final form. So that's why I don't want to just blind fire. That's why I want to actually watch my meter, but it's a lot of things to focus on simultaneously. Oh god, I hit 5. Sorry, I fucked it up. If only I hadn't parried that. Hey, he flew to the right that time. Doesn't usually he flies to the left that time. Oh man. So actually, I just noticed. Did you hear right when I lost the way the music, like the trumpet sort of, like the tempo slowed and.
Is surely brewing. Now go.
So, does it always play the same? Does it always play the same musical phrase when I die, or does it take into account? So it wasn't the same musical phrase this time. I was about to say, does it take into account where I am in the song when I die?
Well battled. Here goes.
And I was about to say, if it does take into account, there's no way they would have, you know, like for every possible point in the song, pick, you know, compose both like, you know, the good version where the song keeps playing and the bad version for where you die on it, right? Because that's just too much effort. So one option was that maybe it's procedural, which would mean rather than just recording, like when you're playing the main team here, this would not just be a pure recording of a band playing, but like each individual instrument is tracked on separate channels, and maybe even each individual note is being tracked, like what they would have done for, you know, Rock Band or Guitar Hero, such that so that when you're playing the video game, if you play a note properly, then they play the pre-recording of that note, and if you don't play it, then they don't play that, right? And the idea is for that to work, they would have to basically cut up the recording into individual notes. That's basically what I mean by having them do this MIDI instead of like as a MIDI track instead of having a single track that's just the whole song pre-recorded. But that's also a lot of work, so that's also less plausible. But what it seems to be doing, now that I've had a chance to die and pay attention, is that they pick a few points in the song to do this slow down.
You're up.
And like when you die, the music doesn't instantly cut to the bad version. It plays a little bit further, and maybe what you're doing is they're letting you, they're playing the song up until where they have a safe transition point from like the good music to the bad music. So that's probably the most cost-effective way of doing that, and probably what they're doing. Basically want to keep my EX meter at about 3 cards, I think, at this point. So I'm trying to like watch my EX meter while dodging the feathers, which is a little tricky, but because I've gained more confidence in dodging the feathers, more comfortable doing it. Oh man, I was trying to see. I feel like one parry gives you 1 card. Yeah, it looks like that's the case. And so I'm trying to figure out what the timing is for doing my specials to keep me at around 4 cards. Yeah, coming into this fight, which I just perfectly nailed. Now I'm gonna spam, basically. God damn it! But yeah, so my plan there is to spam the bullets whenever I can to maximize DPS for that last section. Because I feel like my problem is DPS. Because like there's so much time being spent where I can't seem to actually shoot him, that I want to, whenever I can shoot him, I want to like maximize my burst damage at that point. Wow, did I get hit? I got hit, damn. Guess what, an eggshell. I wasn't watching myself, I was watching the boss because I want to vertically line up my EX. So I'm coming in this fight a little bit low, but I think low is better than high here. So yeah, this whole part where I can't damage him, this is frustrating to me. Not necessarily not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, usually like too much frustration is a bad thing, but like that's the nature of this game, right? To be a little bit frustrating. Wait, that damaged me? Come on. I so clearly parried that. The only thing I can think of is like there were two pink things. Finally. Like there was the pill and then like the bullet in the pill are both pink and they both flew through. And maybe when you parry, you can only parry one of them. Like so if two projectiles are like overlapping and you try to parry, you'll take damage. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just making guesses to what happened there. Oh man. But okay, so we finally did it. And Wally Warbles. Let's stop the stream here. This is about 2 hours, so it's a good stopping point. Alright, thanks. Thanks for watching.